The 7 things that an INFJ says. Now, you may be an INFJ yourself and you just want to get to know yourself that little bit better. Or perhaps you're lucky enough to have an INFJ in your life and you really just want to get to the bottom of what it is that they're trying to say when they talk to you. Does that make sense? Okay, so hands up, I use this one a lot, particularly when I'm coaching people or when I feel like I'm explaining something which is a little bit more complex or has an abstract kind of component to it. And really, when I'm asking this question, it's not because I doubt that person's intellectual capacity to understand what it is that I'm saying. It's just that in my mind, it makes perfect sense, but I'm very, very aware that it might not make sense to anybody else. So when an INFJ asks you this question, does it make sense? They really do want to know, does this make sense to you? And they're very aware that it might not make sense. So be okay and be comfortable letting them know that actually I didn't quite understand what it is that you were trying to say. So please do clarify. If you do it in a gentle way, the INFJ will be very happy to clarify, because like I said, they really do understand that what is in their mind might not fully translate into the real world in a way that other people can easily understand. So how are you feeling? Okay, so at this point, I want to make a very important distinction between asking, how are you feeling and how are you? So if I'm saying, how are you? Then this is the more kind of generic, kind of polite social etiquette way of just asking, how are you? And in that instance, I'm not expecting like chapter and verse, kind of a long, detailed, meaningful conversation about how you are really feeling. This is just me, being polite and doing the nice kind of social etiquette thing. And despite INFJs often wanting to have a deeper, meaningful conversation, we don't have time necessarily or the kind of mental space and energy to be able to do that with every single person that we interact with. However, when I ask, how are you feeling, or some variant like, how are you feeling today, or how do you feel, then I'm genuinely interested in having a deeper, meaningful conversation with you about how you are actually feeling that day. And that may be because my intuition has picked up something. My spider sense has told me that, look, I need to make time for this person because maybe there is something going on in their life and I really need to get to the bottom of it and maybe help them out a little bit. I'm likely to feel a little bit shut out, perhaps even a little bit disappointed if you misinterpret this as the kind of courteous or generic how are you question and respond with something like, yeah, good, I'm fine, or yeah, it's all right, something equally meaningless like that. Because really when I ask how are you feeling, I want to really have a deep and meaningful conversation with you. Can we talk about this later? So this can mean one of a few things. Firstly, it could mean that I'm not comfortable enough with you yet to talk about that particular topic, because ultimately I'm a really sensitive soul and I need to feel like I can trust you and that there's enough rapport before we talk about this particular topic. So if I say this, the best thing may be for you to just leave it, and if I want to talk about it, then I will bring it up with you. It could mean that I'm genuinely busy at that moment in time. I don't have like the mental space and capacity at that moment in time to be able to talk about this particular thing. And I do want to talk about it with you, but later on when I'm in a better space to be able to process everything and to give you the time and attention and the topic the time and attention that it deserves. Finally, it could mean that it's a topic that I really don't want to talk about, and therefore we're not going to talk about it, maybe like ever. So yeah, please just leave it. And if at some point I decide that I want to talk about it, then we can talk about it. Can we talk about this? This is a big warning sign. So if you are interacting with an INFJ, then watch out for these words. If I use these words, then it means that I have thought about this issue probably at length, and I've come up with some ideas as to how we can deal with this issue or overcome it. And now I'm ready to talk about it. I probably didn't raise it with you the first or the second time or even the third time that it happened or didn't happen, because I wanted to make sure that it's a pattern before I raised it with you. Because if it's something that happens once, unless it's really bad, I'm not likely to make it into an issue. But if it's something that's happened like a few times, then I do think that is a pattern, and therefore it's something that we need to address. Unfortunately, by this time, I've probably worked myself up into a little bit of a frenzy, probably feeling a little bit emotional. So you're going to have to bear with me whilst I try to explain what the situation is and how I feel about it, whilst being probably quite emotional about the whole thing. I'm tired, or I'm really, really tired. This is actually a really big warning sign, so please do pay attention if you are dealing with an INFJ. This probably means that I've overworked myself or become like super overstimulated. And if I'm saying the words, if I'm using the words, I'm tired, then it means that I am really, really tired. And what I need right now is some time, maybe a little bit of TLC to help me to recharge. If you can give me some quiet alone time without having to be asked, then I would really appreciate it, and also feel like you understand and support me. And also you making me a cup of tea or doing something like that, something nice like that would go a long way towards making me feel like I can take this time out to just relax and recharge a little bit. So at this point, I just want to check in with you and ask, are you finding any of this to be accurate? If it is, please do let me know in the comments below or hit the like button. Yes, but I can also see it from their perspective. Okay, so this one probably annoys a whole bunch of people in my life, as it may also do in yours. When I say this, it doesn't mean that I don't support you and that I don't see it from your point of view. I really do see it from your point of view, but I can also see it from like all the other perspectives as well. So the boss that you hate, I can also kind of see it from his point of view, and the colleague who annoys you, I can also see things from their perspective. And I'm just trying to explain to you like differing perspectives in the hope that it will give you a greater sense of perspective. Okay, so maybe I can tone this down a little bit, because I know that sometimes you just want me to understand you and to empathize with you and to make you feel supported. And this is something that I do need to bear in mind and that I will work on for the future. Sorry I missed your call. Okay, so that old chestnut. Now, I may have genuinely missed your call, but that would be a rare occurrence. Most likely what happened is I saw your call, but because it's an unscheduled call that I'm not prepared for, I just don't pick up the call. I'll call you back when I'm in the right mental, emotional space to be able to have a proper conversation with you. Or most likely, I'll probably just send you a message and say, sorry, I missed your call, and continue the conversation via message. So what do you do if you need to get hold of an INFJ urgently? This is what I would suggest. If you try to call them and they've not picked up, then send them a message and let them know that it's important and it's urgent, and give them a short summary of why it's important and urgent. They will read your message at some point, hopefully quite soon after you've sent the message. And if they agree with you that it's important and urgent, then they will call you back pretty quickly. In any case, the moral of the story is, if you want to catch an INFJ on the phone, then do make sure that you schedule the call with them beforehand. If you've scheduled a call, then they will turn up to the call. So let me know, is this accurate for you as an INFJ or as someone who has a significant INFJ in your life? Please do let me know in the comments below. Also, if I get enough comments and feedback on this video on the things that INFJs say, so there may be different things that you've heard them say and you want kind of like an interpreter or translation of what it means, then do let me know what it is that they say. And if I get enough of those, then I'll make another video on the topic. Please do subscribe if you haven't done so already, because I make content specifically for INFJs or people who want to get to know INFJs better. I also have a newsletter mail thing which you can sign up for, and there I will share my musings on what life is like as an INFJ, introvert, entrepreneur, empath, highly sensitive person, etc, etc. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!